Oh, that felt good. Got us back on track. But I found out this interesting site that is it gives you steps on how to find out that you're addicted to World of Warcraft and how to quit. The ways to tell you're addicted to World of Warcraft: you play 2 hours or more a day. Oh no, I am in trouble because I don't think I've ever played less than 2 hours at a time. I'm pretty sure pretty much everything I do, if I'm actually playing the game and not just logging on to check my mail, is to like run a raid or something, to run a
even when you
instance.
log in to check your mail, you end up doing raids and instances.
Yeah, it's like, wow, so apparently I'm addicted already. You have spent real money or on in-game gold items or accounts. That doesn't show you are addicted, it just shows that you're, as Dunkor would say, an asshole.
Oh, I'll go with that.
A noob asshole. You know what? Gold buying. We're going to have that as a real Noobs of Warcraft at some point. Expect that sometime in the future. You get easily irritated when you're not playing World of Warcraft. Yes, I relate my irritableness to World of Warcraft. Not, my crappy graduate school classes that have me floundering under piles and piles of homework. And, no, I definitely give it to my escape that is World of Warcraft. Let's see, what else? You've noticed a decline in your grades and or work productivity. This is one that is actually huge, and I do want to say that this one is accurate. I actually know a friend that is actually in grad school with me right now who had some real trouble with World of Warcraft, doing the 6 nights a week raiding for 6 hours at a time, and his grades just really suffered because of it. And you know what? He's pulled himself back up. We have more friends that have gone through this, but they have gotten it together. They are back on track in life, and they know exactly what they want to do. But guess what? They still play WoW. So World of Warcraft isn't the root of that problem. It's just prioritizing, and not so much the fact that you're addicted to a game.
I think you could take it. You can take this outside of World of Warcraft. I knew when Counter-Strike, the original Counter-Strike, was big on campus. I knew people on campus that would sit there and play Counter-Strike all day long, to the point that when they realized that their grades were going downhill and that there was nothing they could do, they pretty much stopped going to all their classes and played Counter-Strike all day long. So you'd leave them in the morning when they'd wake up, they'd be playing Counter-Strike. You come back, they're still playing Counter-Strike. They haven't moved from that spot. They haven't showered. I'm pretty sure they don't know, haven't been to the facilities or anything like that. They've been playing all day long, and they took great pride in this after a while. It was kind of sad because, you realize next semester you're not going to see these people again.
And it's a shame. But that being said, there is a plan. There is a 5-step plan to quitting World of Warcraft that actually has 6 steps to it. This website I'm looking at, 5-step plan, but it has 6 steps. Not really sure how that works.
It's a 12-step plan with 6 steps to it.
Yes, there you go. In any event, like our intro says, the first step to getting help is realizing that you have a problem. The second step is apparently delete your main characters, all of your alternate characters, cancel your account, change your password and email address on the account, find a hobby that's completely unrelated to World of Warcraft, and continue to find community support at our forums.
I can't fathom that. I don't know what I would do. If I had to sit there and push the delete button on my level 70 rogue, or my level 61 priest, or my level 68 shaman, or my blah 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 blah, I think I would have a heart attack.
Talk about cold turkey. I mean, this is a very serious site, and it is a serious problem for some people, and we don't want to make fun of that. But you want to make sure you go about it in the right way. Get support from if you think you have a problem with WoW and you need to get out, that's fine. I'm not going to begrudge you for not playing the amazing game that is WoW. But don't just do that to yourself. It's the same way as I don't know, maybe going into detox is good for some, addicts, but man, a little bit more gradual, like caffeine, the nicotine patch. Go out and get WoW patches. Limit yourself playtime or something. I don't even know.
It's interesting, actually, and Total Biscuit brought this up in Epic a while ago, when Epic was on the radio. Wow. Epic.
We don't have that drop in.
It's that Worcester, Massachusetts, which is actually not too far from where Hiko and I are, has the only, or one of the very few, video game addiction clinics in the world. And that they were addressing at the time the severity of people being addicted to World of Warcraft. I know Total Biscuit was saying at the time that he wasn't really sure if people could honestly be addicted to a video game because it's a video game. Like, really. You know, but really it's just the same as any other kind of psychological
addiction,
drug or addiction, because they give you a little bit, you level up, you're like, wow, this is great, and you want to keep going to get that next best thing till you're at end game, and then you're doing raiding guilds, and you put so much time and effort into your character that why would you want to hit the delete button unless... No, there's no unless. It was just, why would you want to hit the delete button?
Yeah, that's a lot of work, because you also have to look at it as much as it is just a game, and that's all it is. And it's a fun game that we go to enjoy and to have the nice social aspect in it, but you did put time into it, and nobody ever likes just completely throwing away something that they put a lot of time and effort into.
I had read a story recently when I went online, just typed in, I was having fun typing in like Warcraft and like Anonymous and different things like that. I came up with a story about a woman who had played WoW so much that like every day after she come home from work she'd play WoW. She'd still have time for her significant other, but it got to the point where her significant other actually got a bunch of her friends together and had an intervention. They basically locked up her computer, changed the password, and only allowed her to spend so much time doing certain things on the computer every day in order to hopefully wean her off of playing World of Warcraft. I mean, I think that's a bit extreme. I can understand why people would want to help their friends, but there's got to be better ways about going about doing, helping somebody out rather than just passwording a computer that belongs to them. I mean, I would be irate, I think, if somebody locked up my computer. Even if they deleted WoW, I'd be upset. But at least I still had access to everything I needed in my computer. But if you're going to lock up somebody's computer, I mean, to me, people don't have the right to do that.
It's a little bit aggressive. And ultimately, whenever you're dealing with any kind of addiction, direct confrontation is just going to lead people to be on a little bit of a defensive track. And I think I'm pretty much just going to leave it at that. So because I don't want to get this too heavy, the topic to be too heavy and have too many undertones. So, with that in mind, we are going to go to, oh yes, another flawless music break. We've got 2 songs coming at you. A little bit of Bliss 66 in Finch. After that, we will be back with another exciting round of Real Noobs of Warcraft. So enjoy, and we will see you here in a bit over 7 minutes.
Of Warcraft. Here's to you, guy who talks exclusively in NetSpeak. Omit a letter here, throw in a number or 2 there. You are an artist, and the English language is your canvas. You, sir, are a visionary. When most would add 1 punctuation mark at the end of a sentence, you add 27. Because unbeknownst to many, the effects of exclamation points stack. If I can't understand what you're saying, it must be profound. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wasting my time, right? Let's say it together. Hooked on phonics works for me. Your refund check is in the mail, guy who talks exclusively in NetSpeak. And as such, we salute you.
And that was Real Noobs of Warcraft with Mr. Speaks entirely in NetSpeak.
LMFAO.
And on that topic, we have a very special drop-in for you, care of Octail and Hordak.
LMFAO! Noob! With 27 exclamation points in back of it. That's right. That's how smart I am.
So thank you, Octail and Hordak, for giving us a drop-in that exemplifies our Real Noobs of Warcraft so dearly. Not only have we gotten your drop-in, but we have gotten a little bit of love from The Rock. And this has just been a great show. My heart is filled with awesomeness and win right now.
And on that note, filled with awesomeness and win, if you are in MIRC a little bit from now, in about maybe 30 minutes or so, you'll be able to participate in the first ever, and I mean ever, like the
Ever.
It would be the /Kill Chaos Smurf for charity event in MIRC.
Oh man, that is amazing. I am going to have to get in on that.
There are lots of rules, and I don't want to read them all because
that's fine. I'm sure they'll be gone over before the event.
And I don't want to go over them so that people actually will go to MIRC and see what this is all about.
That's right. Go to MIRC now by going to the chat link at the top of WCRadio.com and heading down to either the Java client or joining #pound WoW Radio. By the way, hash and pound are actually the same icon. They're the same actual character. Just some people know it by hash, some people know it by pound. So you don't need to put both.
I'm sure, though, to tie the end of this topic up, why would I want to go donate? Well, the donations from this /Kill Chaos Smurf for charity will be going to support WoW Radio and the Carol Shelby Children's Foundation, which can be found at the site, which I am about to name once I figure out where I lost my spot. I'm searching.
Give him time, folks.
He's here we go.
Slow.
cscf.org.
So go out and check that out, cscf.org, and pop on into IRC for the /kill. What was that again, Railvis? Read that back?
/kill Chaos Smurf for charity.
Spectacular. And we all look forward to seeing that happen. So I think we successfully killed our first topic, and it got a lot of discussion in the IRC channel. Some people because we made them feel bad, other people because they've been where we were talking about and they were sharing some words of advice and that kind of stuff. But next, we're going to start off...
No, we're not.
We're going to finish?
No, actually, we're going to do something else really quickly.
What's that?
Well, we had Find Railvis. We told him to come find me on some server, but we haven't told him anything else, and we only have about a half hour left. So we're going to get a slew of clues all at once.
Yes.
Unlike last time when I was in Ratchet and I saw lots of sand, now I'm in a new place on a level 2 alt name Railvis on the Horde side, US. The clues are as follows.
First clue is the server name, if you haven't figured that out already. It is named after Arthas's father. In fact, Arthas's father's first name is the name of the server. Once you figure that out, go to WoW Wiki if you need some help. We're going to go ahead and tell you that Railvis is... Let's give us another clue. Is, again, surrounded by sand.
It's sand, sun, and scorpions here, and I can't get enough of them.
That's right. So go now, find Railvis. We'll be giving you another clue here in a little bit. But until then, I'm going to have Railvis discuss a new segment with you. For those of you who didn't notice at the beginning of the show, or weren't around at the beginning of the show, and are just joining us now, we did away with Hooked. Because that was kind of silly. And let's just go with silly and dumb. So
hey, you leave your mom out of this.
I was... halfway through the show, or actually more than halfway through the show, 2/3 of the way through the show, and I don't think that had come up yet. It came out, however, on the after show in between Max Speed and Warcraft Anonymous. You should check that out between shows in the future. But thank you, Railvis. Warcraft Anonymous just wouldn't be complete without a lewd reference to my mother.
Well, we love your mother.
We do love my mother. But you are now going to tell them about our new segment, General Interest.
All right, so the General Interest segment is during the week, we're actually looking for all of you out there to write into us about a topic that you are interested in either discussing, and you can share your kind of input, or that you want to hear Hiko and I talk about on the show the following week. For example, this week we actually had one of our guildies talk about how he wanted to hear some stuff about relationships and Warcraft. Do they mix? What's the deal with them? How do we feel about them? How do you feel about relationships in World of Warcraft? So we're going to spend the next X amount of minutes addressing relationships in World of Warcraft. Are they good? Are they bad? Could Warcraft start a wonderful relationship between two people?
Actually, as a side note, it can. I don't know anyone personally, but I have read stories of people who met on WoW and then ended up getting married and have been married for, obviously not too long because WoW hasn't been around for all that long, but there are success stories.
So who needs Match.com?
Yeah, who does need... Or eHarmony?
Yeah.
Why pay for that when you can just pay for World of Warcraft? Why pay for two things when you can pay for one? Two birds with one stone, my friend. And as a side note, the the proprietor of this question is in IRC. So go ahead and flail Barry Mason. That's right, Barry Mason. If you don't like what we're about to talk about, because it's all his fault. So, as I alluded to earlier, my girlfriend was actually the one who got me into WoW. And that was 2 years ago? 2 years ago this November, something to that effect. So, clearly, it's possible to be in WoW, because we are in the same server, same guild, we're on the same raids, and do all that kind of stuff. It is possible to be in WoW with a significant other, and, survive and have it not destroy your life, because there's a lot of times with games there can be arguments, disagreements, and other things like that that can really put a damper on the overall experience of knowing the person outside of the game. It's kind of nice to be able to remove yourself from the game every once in a while and not deal with the other people that are getting you down.
Well, as long as the woman understands I'm always right, I don't think there should ever be a problem.
Wow, Relvis, that was words of wisdom straight from the heart. That was just magical. Thank you.
I thought long and hard before I said that one, and I meant every word of it.
Wow. As a side note, our guild, Gutbuster Brigade, on Moonrunner, shout out to
US.
them, Alliance side, US, thank you, Relvis,
No problem.
has a lot of couples, actually. Myself and my girlfriend, Barry Mason and Cericity, both in the IRC channel, are successfully in a relationship, and they're playing WoW together. And we have 2 or 3 or 4 more that I'm not actually going to go ahead and list them all off, because it'd just be a lot of names. But shout out to all the couples in the Gutbuster Brigade and in WoW in general for making it work in cyberspace. And,
ERP, my friend.
ERP, my friend. Yes, indeed. Relvis, what are your thoughts on being in a relationship and playing WoW together or not? What are the pros and cons of each?
Well, pros, it brings you together, it gives you something to do, especially if you're not able to see each other every day. I went down to North Carolina for the summer, and my girlfriend was up here, and it was just a question of a way of finding something, some way of hanging out and talking to each other and doing something together that normally we wouldn't. You wouldn't have something to do with that great a distance. That can be a really positive thing. I mean, yeah, it sucks that it's the only means of kind of hanging out with a person when you have that distance between you. But it really gives some common ground. It allows you to do some raiding together. It can make some really interesting stories. It can allow you to unwind in a way that's comfortable for both of you and that you can relate to each other.
It's always nice to be able to share interests with your significant other. And that's true for anything. I am a huge baseball fan.
Wait, there's other things other than WoW?
Yes. But they're all just kind of the foundation upon which WoW is built.
All right, I'll give you that
Without
one.
them, WoW it wouldn't be as an immersive experience as it would be. For example, if there were no sports in real life, where would gnome punting have come from? That's a fantastic sport, but that wouldn't be there if it wasn't for football, both kinds, and other sports like that. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm a huge baseball fan, and it's nice to know that my girlfriend is a big baseball fan too. Maybe not as big as me, but we can go to the games, we can watch games, and we can just spend time together.
Wait. Did you just say that your girlfriend isn't as big as you?
Yes, I did actually say that. Thank you for using innuendo to take it out of context, Rail. It's greatly appreciated.
Anytime.
You know what? You can talk, because I am going to stop talking because I'm just...
All right. And you did stop talking. All right, well, you brought up some good points. There's some common things. I said that there's some common things. It's just like outside of the game, you got to have commonality with somebody. However, what about the other side?
The cons of having a significant other and or spouse in World of Warcraft?
I mean, do you really want to work in a setting or an environment where your significant other is? Because what if something goes wrong?
Yeah, then the whole office space awkwardness that happens there. It can be definitely applied if you're living under the same roof.
And I won't go into the detail about it, but there were some things that happened between me and my girlfriend this summer that caused us to break up, and it wasn't in a very clean way. And then when you log on WoW, yeah, you don't have to see the person, but the awkwardness still kind of existed, that I realized that person's there. They're in the guild, I'm an officer, they're an officer, and you don't really want to talk to them and you don't really want to see them, but they're kind of there. So it becomes kind of awkward, especially when you're dealing with a set of people that might not actually know you in real life, but they developed a friendship for you. They've developed a friendship for this other person, and a lot of them try to stay neutral, and then you got a couple of them who, you know, it's life. They'll take your side or take the other person's side.
And it causes a lot of just diversity that is not
it's
healthy.
Drama. I don't think diversity so much as it can cause a lot of drama.
There you go. That's a good way of looking at it. And, you know, lucky for us with Railvis and his significant other, things are looking like they're on the mend. We're back to a state where, you know, we're all cool again, and that period of awkwardness, for a large part, isn't there anymore. But that's not always the case, and that's definitely a huge, huge downside of being in a very close relationship with somebody and playing a game like WoW.
Because it no longer becomes a pleasurable thing to do. You go on to have fun, to do things with people, or PvP, or however you want to do it. You're still having a fun aspect, and when you have to deal with that other person, it can make things awkward and really suck the fun out of the game. To the point that you might not actually play as much, or you might end up leaving your guild because you don't want to deal with that person.
Yeah, but I think that being said, that is just one con in the many multitudes of pros that you have around when you're playing with a close friend or significant other in a game like this. I'm sure many of the people who have couples in IRC who play the game with each other, who have couples and play the game with each other, I'm not really sure that sentence made coherent sense. I'm sure my English major roommate, who's probably listening to the show right now, will...
He's screaming, actually. I think I can hear him screaming.
I hear it. It's music. It's wonderful. It's spectacular. But I'm sure they will attest, all those couples in WoW, that you really do get a lot out of it. So don't be afraid to introduce your spouse, because we all know there are people who wish their spouses played WoW because they wish they were able to, you know, have that interaction and not worry about wife or husband aggro, which is a completely different topic.
And in fact, you just kind of answered my questions, because I was going to ask you, do you think it's a positive thing to introduce your significant other, if they're not already into it, to a game like WoW? I know that my significant other wasn't necessarily into WoW at the time, and I was the one who dragged her into it. Do you think that's a good thing? I mean,
well, it depends. Are you dragging them into it? Because that might be, you know, a little bit.
I think she was slightly kicking and screaming at the time.
But she ended up enjoying it. So, yeah, I would say it was worth it. Warcraft is good. Warcraft is great.
Good.
Surrender your will as of this day. I mean, I wouldn't be playing WoW if it wasn't for my girlfriend. So I would be loath to say it wasn't a great thing.
But I want to play devil's advocate, and I hope I don't sound like a complete total jerk. But, you know, that's assuming that, you know, what happens. Cross your fingers. I know it won't, because you guys are made for each other. What do you think is going to happen, though, if, you know, you guys end up splitting? I mean, are you still going to say this is a great thing? I'm glad she did this.
She's going to smite you the next time she sees you. After she hears
me?
After she hears the archive, she is going to find you and kill you for even implying that.
But I guess I'm really thinking about looking ahead.
No, and that's a fair argument. Will it be awkward? Yeah, but my rebuttal to that is, will it be awkward? Yes. Will it be uncomfortable? Yes. But does that phase of awkwardness completely overshadow all of the good times you had?
Yes. No, I'm just kidding. I was just being emo.
The world hates me. I say no. Maybe it's just because I'm an optimist. I'm an optimist. Oh, that's funny.
You're a physicist.
I'm a physicist. Yes, little known facts, folks. I am a physics graduate student. Wrap your heads around that one. And if anyone wants to talk about that kind of stuff, feel free to PM me. I will entertain any questions regarding that. Anyway, I have no idea what I was saying.
Well, I think I'm going to cut you off then again, and I'm just going to keep going, because I got all these thoughts coming to me. You know, I was talking about how it does make things awkward. I think at the same time, WoW is a great place to, if you're going to patch things back together again, or you're going to see this person, at least try to be friends. Then again, you don't have to see them face to face, and I know that there's probably a lot of girls out there like, oh, this guy doesn't want to see me face to face, like that guy, the guy on the radio doesn't know what he's talking about. But really, it puts you in a position that anytime you want to leave, in terms of logging off because you're uncomfortable, you can do that, and you can still form start to put a friendship back together again, and not have that awkward, like, oh, I have to see this person, or I'm stuck in a place that I can't leave because this person came to my house, or I went to theirs, and I just feel kind of weird up and leaving.
Escape routes are a good thing in awkward situations like that. But, you know, that's weird, because we just said, more or less, that Warcraft is a great way to get over your relationship issues.
or fix them.
Well, that's what I mean. Get over the hump in whichever way that means that you solve your problem, whether you stop talking or get back together or just hang out as friends, To
I'm
be
sorry,
perfectly honest,
Hiko, we will only ever be friends.
I hate you, Railvis. Cha-ching, another $1 for the collection. We'll get into that later, though. While like any other internet thing where you have like IM, IRC, ICQ, if that's even still around, or anything like that effect, it has the benefit of you can talk as if you were talking to them, but it's a little bit removed. It's a little bit, depersonalized, so there is that escape route. But, wow. Looking back over the last, I'd say 70 minutes, we've spent a lot of time talking about really heavy and what could be considered emo topics. So,
Well, on that note, if you have any questions about what ERP is, please PM Cooked Otto, our MIRC rep, and ask him. That way I don't have to answer you and stop paying attention to what's being said.
Wow, I'm very impressed, Rail. This music bed has been going on for like 17 and a half minutes now, and you've been very focused. You haven't been distracted by IRC. I think we're getting over a hump here. I think you're finally getting into
leave your mom out of this.
It's a shame that this is radio and not TV, because then
But
if
it's
it was
not
TV,
live, right? We can edit this out.
Yeah, we can edit all this out. It's not like this
okay.
is live radio or anything. But you can't see my facial expressions, and I think that's probably the best part.
O-face.
The O-face, exactly. I made an Office reference earlier. It got me thinking about Office Space, and I was looking to drop the O-face line, and you ruined it for me. But that's okay. I steal all of your good ideas.
What
anyway.
we really need is more cowbell, actually.
You know what? I think you're right.
I just need more cowbell.
We do need more cowbell, and we thank the almighty Christopher Walken for that revelation.
The invisible Christopher Walken.
The invisible Christopher Walken. We will also get into that in another show. Maybe during one of the after-show shows, we'll discuss the invisible Christopher Walken, for those of you who have not been informed about his awesomeness.
All right, so I'm staring at the clock, and I see that we have 18 minutes left before the end of this show. Assuming we're going to stay on target here. Do we want to jump to our next topic? Do you think we've covered all the relationship things? I know it's a lot heavier than we did. We just kind of touched on the surface, but I think we kind of put our fingers in a little bit of everything, no pun intended.
I don't know. I think what we'll do is we'll give you guys a very, very short music break. This time it's only one song, and it's 4 minutes long. This one here is a little bit of a tribute to Strixus and Kay and Burster and the rest of the crew over at the Lore Keepers. We'll be getting into why we're shouting out to them afterwards, but this song is for them. Enjoy. It's a little bit of Voltaire. He does say the S word, so if you have sensitive ears, I would suggest tuning out. But other than that,
ship.
Enjoy. All right, we are back, and that was Voltaire, the USS Make Up. That was a little playback to Strixus and Kay and the Lore Keepers and the rest of the staff over there, because they were actually the first people I heard that song from other than Railvis. I mean, I heard it from Railvis originally, and then I heard it on the air, and I was like, wow, that's spectacular, because I am a huge Trek geek. If that kind of isn't assumed by the fact, I'm studying physics, so naturally I must be some kind of geek, and probably if physics is one of the things that, science fiction falls under that.
What are they listening to right now? What is it?
Oh, that's right. Somebody asked in the forum about this. This background music you're listening to here is the wonderful acoustical stylings of Andy McKee. I tried to enunciate that very properly. You can go check out YouTube if you want to hear some of his stuff. Buy his albums. You can get it off iTunes. But man, he is an incredible acoustic guitarist. I play guitar myself, and so does Railvis, and I'm just blown away by what he can do.
Well, you're listening to Warcraft Anonymous
With Hiko.
And I'm unprepared.
And so that means I get to pick up the slack here. We are going to go ahead and do shout-outs and testimonials here at the end of the show. We have a little bit to talk about, so go ahead and PM shout-outs to myself or Railvis in IRC. PM testimonials to Cooked Otto. For those of you who aren't aware what testimonials are, that is where you get to send us your funny, awesome sad, amazing Warcraft stories to share.
How about
on the air.
your sad but funnily amazing stories? I think I just made up a word.
I think
right.
you did just make up a word.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over what we just went through for the last 40 minutes really quickly in terms of some of the segments. Again, we did general interest. That is a topic or a segment that we'd like to run every week where you, the listeners, get to email us with a topic that you'd like to hear us talk about.
At warcraftanonymous@gmail.com. That email address is warcraftanonymous@gmail.com. We will read over your emails, choose the awesomest topic that is made of the most win, and that will be the middle of our show next week.
Dude, wait. You wrote our email address on a piece of paper so that you could spell it correctly.
Yes, because last time
/sigh.
I misspelled anonymous twice. Hey, wait.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
I don't need to be able to spell. Oh, I've been wanting to use that drop-in for both of these shows.
Yes.
It's amazing. Peter Venkman, Ghostbusters, yes, no, show some love.
All right, the other thing we have is self-help. That's where you get to email us every week with a story relating to the self-help topic. Our self-help topic for next week is how do you make gold in World of Warcraft? Beyond, buying gold, because we don't endorse that here at WC Radio, and I think that's for noobs and those assholes.
Yes, those assholes. For those of you interested to know who those assholes are, check out WoW Things Considered with Dunkor and Cadwallian. PM Dunkor, next time you see him, I'm sure he'll be able to tell you who those assholes are.
End quotes.
End quotes. I was doing the whole quotation thing by quoting my fingers in the air, but again, I forget that you can't see me. And just as a side note, it's incredibly hot in here right now. I'm looking at the thermometer I have on my wall, and it says it is 81.0 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's because I'm in here.
That is, you are so hot, Relvis, that you're just bringing up the ambient temperature of the room. Unfortunately, you also haven't showered recently, so...
Recently?
Ever.
Yep.
But that being said, it was about 71 when we started the show, because I had my window open and the fans going. So needless to say, in 8 or 9 minutes when we get done with this, it's...
Shower time.
Yes.
Together. To
Yes,
conserve
together,
water.
To conserve water. Because we are eco-friendly here at Warcraft Anonymous.
You're like a parrot.
So don't forget, folks, self-help topic, how do you make gold in World of Warcraft? Send that in to us at warcraftanonymous@gmail.com.
Hey, how do you spell that?
warcraftanonymous@gmail.com. Also, general interest, what topic would you like to hear us talk about next week? Email us that as well. But now we are going to go into On Topic. What is
On Topic?
What is our On Topic? On Topic is where we take 5 topics from other WC radio shows and go over them in a very quick, concise manner, offering our input. Because that's what we are all about here at Warcraft Anonymous. Originality. That is right. Okay, so Railvis, I'm going to get my clock open, and we are going to give my countdown timer open, and we're going to have 5 minutes to go through these. I will read the first one to you, and and we'll switch off. So, On Topic, starting now. On max speed. That's right, I said max speed! They were talking about what kind of person is associated with World of Warcraft. Discuss.
I don't know. You got the really kind of the nerdy people. That was kind of what Speedy was getting at when he was referring to his friend, saying that Speedy is a specific type of person. What is Blizz? What kind of crowd does Blizz draw? And what does that say about the rest of us who aren't that stereotype? What do you think?
I think that there's a lot of stereotyping in society, and that all of them
Are correct.
Are correct, yes. Every single one of them is correct. For example, Rail is always right. No, they're wrong, and there are always going to be outliers to stereotypes, and associating a certain type of person with WoW is just plain silly. On vendor trash, that's right, we jumped to the next topic already. On vendor trash, Schlanik was talking about individuality in WoW. How it's accomplished. Is the way it's accomplished a good thing? and etc., etc., etc. Because Rail Talk first last time, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. This came up with the topic of nether drakes and earning nether drakes and how that gives you individuality, and I think that is freaking awesome. Anything that can make your character more unique, more customized, more you is welcome in my book. Absolutely anything, even if it is the ugly, ugly nether ray mount that, you know, big torrents float around on. It kind of looks like they're riding on a saddle.
I slightly disagree. I think, yes, it brings something to the game that's needed. I don't think it needs to be anything so much as just the objects in the game that don't necessarily interfere with gameplay. Having another Drake compared to an epic flying mount, it's not going to make a big difference. So if you want to go ahead and really show people that you are addicted to Warcraft and you get your nether Drake, that's fine. All right, on our next one, the next topic is from
Octail and
Hordak, and that is pro gaming dead?
Oh man, I don't think I can touch on this one because I wasn't a pro gamer, so I'm going to go ahead and shift that around a little bit because I think they did touch upon this. Is gaming in general dead?
Well, let's look at, I mean, if you look at the video games that Octail and Hordak were talking about, you have, like, fishing games.
Yes, I want to go fishing!
But
in Zelda.
So wait, our favorite, you know, some people's favorite pastime is to go fishing, but you're too lazy to go do a pastime that is meant to be lazy, so you do it in your house virtually. You know, and you don't even get food to bring back afterwards.
Yeah, that's true. But there are a lot of really horrible games that are coming out, and it really shows a decline in the gaming industry. And I'm going to run over this by a couple seconds, but that's okay because I want to get this point out. There are a lot of bad games coming out, but there are also a lot of good ones, exciting ones. Halo 3 is coming out pretty soon, but other things like Rock Band, even Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Wii, for those of you who like the cartoony aspect of things. Gaming itself isn't dead, it's just hiding in places. Actually, if you want to look at it, pick up a recent copy of EGM, the one with Silent Hill 5 on the cover. In the back, they rated the last 10 years in gaming. 2006 was the highest aggregate score in their rating system. So I don't think gaming's dead. Pro gaming maybe, because of the whole collapse of the World Series of video games, but not gaming in general. One quick thing, though, on a technical, mechanical aspect, was on WoW Things Considered. Dunkor and Cadwallian were discussing ray mechanics, or as Blizzard refers to it, beam mechanics, things like Mind Flay and all those annoying things that Warlocks do. What do you think? The current thing is that they are glitchy. They go around corners, they can step outside of their range, and they still hit you.
Well, again, they brought this up in their topic when they discussed it, that a ray itself, at least the way like a Mind Flay works, is more of a channeled spell rather than a fireball. So if you think about it, the caster's concentrating on his target that he's already locked onto. So regardless of whether the target ends up going up to a distance, doesn't matter if they go behind a wall, you're still concentrating on that person, so the ray should still work, unlike, as they had said, a fireball, which again is a material object that when it hits a wall, it's going to explode. It's not going to magically go through the wall, although I have seen some spells in World of Warcraft do that.
Yes, in fact, I do that with frostbolts all the time. But, you know, we're running out of time and on topic. We only have about 30 seconds left, and we want to go ahead and let you know what our last on-topic topic is. And it isn't actually an on-topic topic. It's that the Lore Keepers are doing their 100th show. That's right, their next show is their 100th show, and unfortunately,
that's awesome.
It's also their last.
Oh.
They reached the centennial mark, but they are taking a hiatus. So I want everyone out there in the stream, whether you're a regular Lorecraft listener or not, go on the forums, send the Strixus and K email, drop lines to Burster and IRC if you see him hanging around. Listen to their show. Give them the departure that they really deserve as some really awesome members of the World of Warcraft radio community.
And take some time to learn some new lore. They're doing a question and answer thing on anything, even like Stump the Lore Keepers. Like, if you have a question about anything WoW related, and it doesn't matter if you think it's dumb or not, ask it. You're going to get some really interesting answers.
I know I'm going to be sad to see it go because I am a little bit of a lore geek, as the people in IRC that raid with me can attest. I like spurting out little bits of lore from about the various bosses, and some of that I do get from the Lore Keepers, and I'm going to be very sad to see them go. Alright, we're coming up on very little time left. Supposedly we get out of here at in 40 seconds. However, we're going to run a minute or two over to do a couple of shout-outs. Remember to stick around for the Kill Chaos Smurf?
It's /kill chaos
For charity.
Smurf for charity.
That's right. Stick around for that. All right, so some shout-outs. Let's see. Mifia writes, I missed the first half of the show, but still, who cares? We do. But we're glad you showed up anyway. Oh. Shout out to everyone in MIRC. Shout out to the Aflac Duck. He kicks some
Aflac.
Exactly. And last but not least, shout out to all the hard workers in Blizzard that keep the servers of WoW up. /cheer to the Blizzard guys.
Can't wait to VoIP.
Yes, VoIP, that should be interesting.
So much for keeping servers up.
Yeah. Nox writes, shout out for myself. SQAG, Squag? I have no idea how to pronounce that. On Zul'jin, dinged 49 2 hours ago, halfway to 50 and ready to go elemental. Also, a shout out to Boobs. Yes. Yes, indeed. And congratulations on dinging. That is awesome. Alright, Rail, you got any shout outs or do they all come to me this time?
I have one. Shout out to Jarvister for being my little brother and quitting WoW. That from Tyrek.
Alrighty, and here's an interesting mail that Hey, what is up, Pablo? Pablo writes, Hey, Hiko, former IJ bassist here. I think the show's pretty awesome. Where does this broadcast from? To answer that question, it broadcasts from my apartment at school. Shout out to the former IJ members, man. Thank you, P-Bach. P-Bach is the former bassist in my former band from way back when. Glad to hear you're listening to the show, dude.
Wait, would you say a friend? Is he a friend of yours?
He is.
So
a
you
friend
actually
of mine.
have friends? Amazing.
Well, I call them friends.
I'm
but
not your friend.
By the standard
I hate
definition
you.
of friend, it wouldn't fit. That's just a word I use to make myself feel better.
What?
Rail,
Oh,
this
you're
is
still
falling asleep on
talking.
me again. All right, any other shout-outs, Rail?
Not that I see.
All right, well, to give you an example of a testimonial, here is one testimonial that I got. Simon writes, Simon here, level 45 Night Elf Druid at the time of post from Twilight's Hammer EU server. One testimonial thing I has was, once upon a time I was grinding from 39 to 40 on my Night Elf Druid, Simon. A level 70 rogue comes over to me and dismounts. I wave at him and bow in attempt to make him let me live. Then he used the Sinister Strike on me, crits and one-shots me, because I was shocked and everything because of the GN. Yes, it's always painful when a level 70 one-shots you.
Shout out to both of you. Great job tonight. That from Val in MIRC.
Thank you, Val. Also, shout out to our favorite high school pally, Drakismo in MIRC. Congratulations to everyone that received shout-outs. We are going to wrap in this episode of Warcraft Anonymous. Thank you for joining us. I'm Hiko.
I'm One Angry Badger.
And we are completely original.